Presiding officer, I will certainly not try and be too frivolous, but I will try and rise to the challenge that Ian Gray provided and give some role models in software engineering and some related activities. And so girls do belong. And I start with Ada Lovelace, who was Lord Byron's only legitimate child. She was born in 1815 and died in 1852. She was the computer program for Charles Babbage, who got a huge amount of money from the government to develop the analytical machine and the calculating machine. She developed the first computer algorithm and identified the importance of branching, in other words, testing and changing the direction of the program depending on results. Absolutely key to the way that software works today. She was a mathematician, she was a computer person, encouraged very largely by her mother, because her father fled 1 month after she was born and she never saw him again. Born in 1906 was Grace Hopper. And Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, whom I had the immense privilege of meeting on the 5th of October 1972 at the University of York, she was a programmer on the Mark I American Navy computer in 1944. That computer had a partly electromechanical system, and one of her program runs failed and a moth was stuck between the contacts. The Americans call a moth a bug. That bug is sellotaped to her lab notes and can be seen in the museum in New York, and that is why we call computer programs have bugs, because of Grace Hopper. But Grace Hopper, she did something incredibly important. She was the first person to develop a computer program that wrote computer programs, the first computer compiler, which today we utterly depend on. Steve Shirley, born in 1930. Oh, by the way, Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, retired 3 times from the US Navy, and she was re-recruited because she was genuinely indispensable. Finally retired at the age of 80, the oldest ever uniformed member of the United States Armed Services, and then went to work full-time for the Digital Equipment Corporation, where she was still working at the age of 85. Steve Shirley, now she's actually Stephanie Shirley, and Steve Shirley used professionally the name Steve so that the people she was dealing with would not know she was female. And she developed a rather deeper voice than she might have naturally been born with, one on the telephone. And she founded FI, Female International, one of the very successful early computer consultancies. And she's still around doing good work in the House of Lords. The original NASA bid for computers for the orbital manned missions. John Glenn did 3 hops around the Earth in 1962. The computer failed for 3 minutes during his 3 orbits because they only required 99.95% reliability, and failures were allowed. So thank goodness Katherine Johnson, who was the orbital mechanical engineer who was responsible for the mission, was there when the computer failed. That computer, because that's what these ladies were known as, was still there. And today in the NASA Langley Center, the director is a female, the chief scientist is a female, and the chief technical editor, Pearl Young, is a female. There's plenty of places where girls belong in engineering.